All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a deeply disturbing piece of history, the story of Jeffrey Epstein and the sprawling network of global elites connected to his crimes. We're going to sift through the data, the timeline, and the specific locations that made up this dark web. The source material we're analyzing today really pulls back the curtain on one of the most chilling conspiracies of our time. It shows us, quite bluntly, how absolute wealth and power can create a terrifying shield for unthinkable acts.
So let's kick things off with a specific number, 72. That represents the exact acreage of Little St. James. It's a highly secluded, private island sitting right in the pristine waters of the Caribbean Sea. Now, to the outside world, this was just another piece of luxury real estate owned by a wildly successful financier. But as you'll see as we go through this, that 72-acre isolated haven was actually the epicenter of a massive, heavily guarded operation.
On the surface, the media and the public just viewed this place as a glamorous billionaire's paradise. But the source material details a reality that is infinitely darker, literally labeling it an island of horrors. Behind the closed doors of these supposedly elite holiday parties, the source outlines horrifying allegations of child abuse targeting innocent young girls. And the claims presented in the investigation go even further into the darkest extremes of human behavior, including alleged satanic worship and even gruesome rumors of ritualistic sacrifices and cannibalism. It really forces us to ask, how on earth could something so monstrous operate for so long, right in plain sight?
Section 1. The rise of a predator and Epstein's origins.
It's crazy to think about, but his origins were surprisingly ordinary. He started out as just a simple math teacher. But, he didn't stick to the classroom for very long. He rapidly transitioned over to the fast-paced world of Wall Street. Through this intense mix of charisma and networking, he quickly gained the deep trust of extremely wealthy businessmen, essentially taking over the management of their immense assets and raking in massive commissions. This newly acquired financial power allowed him to build a literal empire. We're talking sprawling, highly secure mansions across Manhattan, New Mexico, Paris, and Florida. His unimaginable wealth basically became his ultimate camouflage.
Moving on to Section 2. The Lolita Express and elite connections.
According to the source, Epstein's private jet, which the media actually dubbed the Lolita Express, and that secluded island hosted just an absolute array of powerful figures. We were talking about flight logs and files dropping names like former U.S. Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, British royalty like Prince Andrew, massive tech billionaires including Bill Gates and Elon Musk, right alongside various Hollywood stars. The source makes it a point to just impartially look at the data here. These world leaders and titans of industry were undeniably part of his close orbit, freely traveling into a private realm where unspeakable crimes were actively occurring.
Which naturally brings up a major question. Was this all part of a global blackmail ring? Because when the FBI eventually raided his properties, they didn't just find financial ledgers. No, they uncovered vast, hidden hoards of CDs and secret photographs. This massive collection of potential evidence has led to heavy theories, which are strongly highlighted by our source, that Epstein wasn't just hosting luxurious parties. He was actually running a massive, calculated blackmail operation. There are even allegations mentioned in the source linking this dark intelligence-gathering network to Israel's Mossad. Basically, he was collecting ultimate leverage against the most powerful people on Earth.
Section 3. The timeline of justice and the legal battle.
You really have to look at how spread out this timeline is. It's staggering. It all starts way back in 2005, when a brave teenager named Courtney Wild broke the silence and went to the police down in Florida. But look at what happens in 2008. Instead of justice, a highly controversial secret 18-month sweetheart deal was struck behind closed doors with high-ranking prosecutors, completely bypassing the victims. Epstein ended up serving just 13 months and was largely allowed to leave his cell during the day. It wasn't until a full decade later, in 2018, that a relentless investigative expose finally blew the lid off this cover-up. And that directly led to 2019, when the FBI arrested him again. Only this time it was without the option for bail.
Next up, Section 4. The bizarre findings and island discoveries.
When investigators finally searched that island, what they found was highly unusual. Most notably, there was this mysterious blue and white striped domed building that resembled some sort of strange temple. Even more alarming, they discovered secret underground tunnels and hidden bunkers constructed right beneath the island's surface. And perhaps the most telling piece of evidence of all, a massive, pervasive network of surveillance cameras installed everywhere. The source questions whether those were just for everyday security, or if they were deliberately placed to secretly record his powerful guests for that exact blackmail ring we just talked about. Which brings us to Section 5, the suspicious death and cover-up theories.
Epstein's 2019 arrest absolutely sent shockwaves through elite circles, and it all culminated in one stark question. Was it suicide or murder? On August 10, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his highly secure New York jail cell. Now, the official government ruling was suicide. But as our source strongly points out, the sudden death sparked massive global speculation of a coordinated cover-up. A lot of people believe he was silenced to protect the elite figures who were terrified of his impending testimony.
I mean, you have to consider the truly unexplained circumstances from that night. It is baffling. At the exact time of his death, all of the jail's surveillance cameras miraculously malfunctioned. The duty guards, who were specifically tasked with watching him, inexplicably fell deeply asleep on the job. And perhaps most suspiciously of all, Epstein had been recently removed from the suicide watch list just prior to this happening. The source highlights these specific points to show exactly why so many people believe an invisible hand orchestrated his death to keep the names of the powerful hidden forever.
And finally, Section 6, the Epstein Files and those millions of pages. That leaves us staring at a totally mind-boggling number: 3 million. That is the estimated number of pages that make up the complete, unredacted collection known as the Epstein Files. 3 million pages detailing his finances, his dark operations, and all of those high-level connections.
Now, what you absolutely need to take away from this is that only a microscopic fraction of those 3 million pages has actually been released to the public so far. Yet even this tiny glimpse has caused global tremors. It's already exposed secret pseudonyms used by royalty like Prince Andrew, and detailed the connections of powerful figures like Donald Trump to his network. The source notes that the world is basically waiting on the edge of its seat to see what the remaining millions of pages hold and what other titans of society might fall when they are finally unsealed.
So as we wait for those millions of pages to see the light of day, the source leaves us with this incredibly chilling final thought and question: who really controls the world? Based on the staggering level of elite complicity, the willful blindness of the justice system for literally years, and the impossible circumstances of his death, are we governed by the systems we see, or by a dark shadow network of untouchable elites? It's a profound question, and honestly, thanks to the sheer volume of the Epstein Files, it's a question that isn't going to disappear anytime soon.